Hey, what's the deal? That's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I mean? As of this recording, it's 1 p.m. You know what I mean? If you hear like noise in the background, you know, they're doing construction in my building and such. You know, matter of fact, let me see if I can close this door. I can't fucking close it. Fuck it, I can't close it. Look like it's gonna rain and stuff. You know, I'm seeing a lot of stuff about the Vince documentary, and man, I see excerpts of it, and man, you know, nothing really spectacular is there, but it is enough to really make you hate the motherfucker. You know, like, and this comes in the light of all the allegations that are out there with Vince. You know, with the whole thing with Janelle Grant, and I'm pretty sure there's more allegations that might come out. You know, that legit might come out from, you know, from this documentary. You know, who knows? Because this be the perfect time to strike, knowing that this is about Vince. You know, and of course, Shane McMahon was also in the documentary and stuff. Excuse me, sorry if I'm yawning. And, you know, Shane is rumored to be coming to AEW. And you know what? It would not shock me if I see Shane debut tonight, knowing that, you know, this was the date of the Netflix documentary of his father and stuff. But my thing is this with AEW. My thing is this, okay? You know, they need Shane to boost up popularity and interest for the product. That's not happened since 2019. And, you know, will AEW ever get back into the prominence that it had from 2019? The answer is no. The answer is no. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they have already absorbed everything that made a pro wrestling company popular, and also that era popular, right? And so, you know, with All Elite Wrestling, they catered so much to the indies that they have pretty much been over-absorbed. Like, there's nothing there with the indies. Now, basically, you know, they have, you know, the show is beyond unwatchable. The product is unwatchable. AEW has a bunch of people who just make all these things up, you know, to suck the dick of the company. But yet, you know, when their contracts are up, they look at the competition, and we're talking about free agents. You know, look at the competition and go, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that about WWE. You know, I didn't mean to say that. Like fucking, you know, like that Redbone. You know, like the Redbone Mercedes Moné, who was on the Breakfast Club. And Charmy asked her, do you think that you will ever go back to WWE? And she said, I like where I'm at AEW right now. Basically, she didn't really say her truth and such, but, you know, they're doing everything in their power to get some sort of relevance to, you know, to the company and stuff, right? And I'm like, wow. You know, the simple fact that you're doing all of this, like, you're desperate. You know, you are beyond fucking desperate. You're desperate to get some sort of eyeballs on your product, knowing that nobody cares about AEW. Nobody gives a fuck about All Elite Wrestling. Let's be honest. Nobody gives a fuck. You know, I don't give a fuck about All Elite Wrestling. You know, like, it would never get back to how it was in 2019 because of, you know, of a simple thing. Vince. You know, Vince was the main reason why, you know, AEW was high in popularity. You know, there was so much stuff that Vince was doing that it kind of pushed a lot of people away. And AEW, quote unquote, gave you the wrestling that, you know, that you deserve. Right? Which is beyond cap because, you know, I mean, you know what? Okay, it did, but there were so many things that were added on into AEW that at one point you would go, okay, well, maybe this is the promotion that's going to take over WWE, right? But, you know, once these allegations came and once Triple H and Shawn Michaels took over and once they got the ball rolling with everything in WWE, and then you got Endeavor and such, you know, like I said, the winds have changed completely with AEW to the point where, you know, it's gotten more stale. You know, people are telling secrets about the company and such. they will never, ever, ever get back that popularity that they had in 2019. I'm just keeping a buck with y'all. They will never get that back. Why? Because that was their peak. How the fuck is your first, your first year your peak, and then later on, you start to diminish? How the fuck does that happen? These motherfuckers are 5 years in and nothing. They're 5 years in and they could barely fucking sell out, Arthur Ashe Stadium for Grand Slam. You could barely sell that out. And then you're just making matches just to make matches. They had everything right in 2019. Storyline and fucking, locker room morale and actually listening to the fans and such. They was hitting off on all cylinders, and then in due time, someone said that, AEW is like a train that it's not stopping at all. There's no brakes. And it's not stopping when it comes down to popularity. Someone pulled those brakes. Someone pulled those brakes. It's always an emergency brake. Someone pulled that shit. They pulled that shit. They stopped it. You know what I mean? And bam. The popularity is just done. It's really done. And like I said in my video yesterday, AEW is no longer the destination for free agents. Maybe in 2019, because Vince was still running creative during that time, and Vince was so out of touch. Even in the documentary, there was a lot of things that he said that proved that how out of touch he was. Like he was saying about why he doesn't like the term pro wrestling. He was like, well, I didn't want to be like what they like. They meaning lower class fans. Lower class fucking fans. And he was like, oh, I don't like that term. I don't like that term. So that's when he created sports entertainment, but it's still pro wrestling, my G. And I get what he's saying. Now, I clearly got what he was trying to say, but still, it's still pro wrestling no matter how you slice it. No matter how the fuck you slice it. And then there was another thing where, Shane wanted to buy UFC. Vince contradicted himself too. Vince was saying how he was like, oh, if UFC fighters lose, it's over for their career. But the same shit for wrestlers. If they lose, right? If they lose, it's basically over for their careers, right? But and listen, I get it. It's carny, it's all storyline and stuff. And I think that's one reason why he didn't buy the UFC, because he could not control outcomes with UFC. That's why he didn't buy it. But like I said, it was a big mistake. But this has nothing to do with Vince. This has a lot to do with AEW in 2019. And they will never get that popularity back. No matter how much things they do, they will never get that back. I mean, AEW doesn't create stars to the point where they still keep eyeballs on tap, right? They're dependent on wrestling, and wrestling is not going to cut it. And mind you, the most important and influential figure, the most important influential figure and the most important figure from 2019 is actually in WWE, and that's Cody Rhodes. Now looking back, Cody Rhodes is the sole reason why AEW was successful during that time. The sole fucking reason. Everything else just happened to come on board. But Cody Rhodes was the main reason why, the product was so great during that time. Once he left and once Tony Khan took over, you can clearly see the decline. And you can see the fan interest winding down. And now it's a lot more worse. Now, WWE is at a point where now they're the train that is not going to stop. It's going to be hard for them to derail that train. Very, very hard. I don't know what's going to happen with AEW. AEW will never get back into that's another thing that they had, 1 million views. That they had stuff up there. They will never get that back because there is no electricity. It's nothing with the company. And mark my words, the next 4 years is going to be fun because what big name from WWE, what large name are they going to get to go to AEW, right? And that's the hardest thing. What, you're going to get Roman Reigns? Not happening. Where you going to get The Rock? Not happening. Where you going to get John Cena? Not happening. So what the fuck you going to do? What are you gonna do? You gonna go sign Brock Lesnar? Like, come on. The only way that I can see AEW getting back to 1 million views is one thing and one thing only. There's only one thing. And you might think I'm bugging out, but I'm really not. I don't ever see this happening, but with a particular person there, do not be shocked if this kind of thing happens. If Vince is involved in AEW TV. And I know Shane is there, Shane's about to be there and such, but I would not be shocked if Vince, who is no longer affiliated with WWE of any sort whatsoever, winds up, making an appearance at AEW. I would not be shocked. That's the only way they're going to get 1 million views. Other than that, AEW is dead in the fucking water. You know what I mean? All right, y'all, so I'm about to be out. So maybe I might come back with another video tonight. I don't know. It depends, because anything can happen. You know what I mean? So I'm going to check y'all soon. Peace.